This complete walkthrough covers multi-camera shooting, from the absolute basics all the way through to those really annoying edge cases you always face. But we're adding a modern twist by blending tried and true traditional NLE techniques with Vizard's powerful AI to get you results much faster without ever sacrificing your creative control. If you just need the quick answer now, feel free to jump to the chapter list that appears below, but if you have a few spare minutes, let's dive deep into this process together. So what exactly is multi-camera editing in the first place? Simply put, it's how you efficiently cut between multiple recorded angles of the same event. This is absolutely essential for things like capturing a full band performance, a detailed two-host interview, or even a lively podcast recording session. Traditionally, you handle this inside your main editing software, like Premiere or Final Cut, by creating a special multicam sequence that perfectly syncs everything up. That manual method still works fantastically well, but let's be honest, it can get incredibly tedious when you're dealing with many hours of raw footage. This is precisely where an AI tool like Vizard steps in, because it doesn't aim to replace your creative process. Instead, it just accelerates the mundane organizational parts. It focuses on finding the best highlights, proposing initial cuts, and organizing all your media into clip-ready pieces that you can then refine later. Now, let me walk you through a very common workflow that expertly mixes both the manual and AI approaches so you get the absolute best of both worlds. We begin with step 1, which is always about getting all of your media files meticulously in order before you do anything else. For this example, imagine you have 3 camera angles and 1 separate high-quality external audio file, which is very standard for high-end talking head setups. If you try to manually drop everything onto your timeline, you'll quickly notice the camera files contain that scratchy built-in audio from their small mics. Your separate audio track is always the cleaner, higher fidelity source you actually want to use for the final mix. In Premiere's sequence dialog, you get options to sync those clips by endpoint, timecode, or by analyzing the audio waveforms. You can absolutely handle all that manually, and sometimes that is the right call, but for pure time savings, just upload all the raw media to Vizard. What the AI does here is it automatically analyzes all the audio waveforms across every file and syncs every single clip for you, no more nudging required. It proposes a unified timeline where every angle lines up perfectly based on that audio analysis, saving you from manual trimming and painstaking nudging. That feature alone is a massive time saver, especially when you have cameras that started or stopped recording at completely mismatched times. Moving to step 2, let's talk about creating that initial working multicam edit you'll use for assembly. If you prefer to stay inside Premiere, you'll create your multi-camera source sequence and then build a new sequence clip on top of it. Once you enable the multicam view, you get that familiar grid of all your available camera angles right there on your monitor. You can then switch angles live, either by clicking the correct window or simply hitting the corresponding number keys on your keyboard while playback runs. Premiere diligently records all those switches as immediate cuts, which you can always go back and refine later using rolling edits. But here is where the faster hybrid approach comes into play. You let Vizard scan that synced multicam timeline you just built. The AI automatically generates a curated set of short, punchy clips by intelligently looking for energy spikes, key vocal cues, and visual changes that perform well on social platforms. It then gives you either fully ready-to-post clips or a massive collection of proposed cut points you can easily import right back into Premiere as a new sequence. Practically speaking, this means you spend your valuable time in Premiere focusing on the fine creative work like timing, color grading, and detailed sound design. You avoid spending hours hunting down every single best line or reaction shot manually before you even start polishing. Let's cover step 3, which deals with that universally common pain point. Your multicam sequence has defaulted to using the absolute wrong audio track. In Premiere, you can open that multicam source sequence to manually mute or unmute various audio lanes, or consciously change which camera's mic is routed to the main cut. That entire process of toggling through many lanes is undeniably tedious and prone to human error when you're deep in an edit. Vizard's advantage here is that it keeps all the individual camera mics accessible on separate tracks, and then it intelligently suggests the single cleanest audio source automatically. For instance, it might prioritize a lavalier microphone over the on-camera mic if it accurately detects superior clarity across the recording. Crucially, when Vizard generates those short clips, it attaches the best detected audio for each specific segment, so your exports are nearly ready audio-wise right out of the gate. You still maintain full manual override capabilities, but the AI simply removes an immense amount of that repetitive, boring clicking. Step 4 concerns color consistency, specifically if you prefer to color grade each individual camera angle before assembling them. The best practice is to do this grading inside the multicam source sequence so that every resulting cut seamlessly inherits the intended look. Here is a useful tip for the Vizard part. When you push your footage into the system for auto-editing, it preserves clip metadata and can keep a lightweight LUT tag attached. This means when you import those suggested clips back into Premiere, you already have a consistent reference point for your final polish pass. Vizard definitely won't replace your artistic color work, but it ensures those auto-generated clips don't jump jarringly in color or exposure. This prevents you from wasting time fixing basic visual mismatches that shouldn't have happened in the first place. Now for step 5, which involves adding all those necessary creative overlays like VHS textures, film burns, or crucial lower thirds graphics. Asset marketplaces are fantastic for finding these elements, but downloading and painstakingly applying every single one individually is a massive workflow drain. Vizard integrates cleanly into this modern method. You can drop an overlay onto the exported clip set, or simply stack them in your NLE after import. If you use a template library with specific licensing, just remember that part is separate from what Vizard handles. Vizard finds the cuts, not hosts the assets. A quick side note on sponsors or asset libraries. They are useful for production value elements, but they don't automate the editorial decision of which 20-second clip will actually go viral. That crucial decision of identifying high potential moments is precisely what Vizard specializes in automating for you. Now let's address a very common problem. Sometimes a single camera records in continuous 30-minute segments, or it crashes and restarts, creating multiple files for one angle. The traditional workaround in Premiere is to create a sequence containing all those files in chronological order, nest it, and treat that entire nest as a single camera source. With Vizard, the process is much smoother. You simply upload all those split files and clearly tag them as, for example, Camera A, Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. Vizard will then automatically stitch those parts together into one logical camera angle for all editing purposes and visually mark any small gaps it finds, so you know where to trim. If there were brief moments where the camera was completely off, Vizard still syncs the nearby audio and lets you decide whether to drop those gaps or blend across them. Here's a pro tip for those situations. Align all your camera clips to the continuous external audio source first, and then nest those aligned clips together. This action effectively yields one cohesive, gap-free angle that you can confidently use within your main multicam source sequence. Let's discuss a pro hack for interviews: how to create a dynamic split-screen angle using a duplicate of existing sources. In Premiere, you achieve this by duplicating a nested sequence, cropping, repositioning layers, adding a thin divider line, and including that new sequence as a fourth angle. You can perform this exact same trick with Vizard. Create that split-screen nest in your NLE, export it, and upload that one file as an additional unique camera angle. The AI will then treat your custom split screen as just another option, allowing your auto-edit timeline to switch to that combined shot at the perfect moment. This is absolutely perfect for those moments where you need to switch between a close-up on one speaker and a combined wider shot of both of them simultaneously. A quick note on the broader tool landscape. Some newer all-in-one editors promise everything but often come with frustrating limits like per download caps. Others focus purely on transcription-based editing, which is great for captions, but they frequently miss those critical visual energy points like a genuine laugh or reaction shot. Vizard intentionally sits between these two extremes by focusing on turning long content into a batch of high-potential short clips for social media. It then wraps that automation up by giving you tools to schedule and publish those clips directly across all your various platforms, which is a huge bonus. In essence, you get powerful automation without ever having to surrender your final editorial taste or judgment on what works best. Let's look at a real-world example, an interview spanning across multiple locally recorded camera files due to recording limits. I had one case where the guest's camera was perfect, but my local camera split into several files because of a common 30-minute recording cutoff. The manual way demands that you sync each camera clip individually to the master audio, cut them together, nest them, and then build the multicam source. That process is reliable, yes, but it demands a significant block of focused, uninterrupted time from you. The much faster Vizard way is simply to upload the entire folder, let the AI auto-sync everything, and group all the camera parts into one logical track. Then you just ask it to generate interview highlight clips, and you can even include that custom split screen option we discussed earlier. Vizard outputs several useful short versions, the best sound bites, reaction cuts, and even suggested captions ready for immediate use. You can then import those polished clips back to Premiere for final polish, or if you trust the initial AI cut, publish them directly through Vizard's integrated scheduler. Even when the AI auto-generates your clips, you will inevitably want to fine-tune a few of those specific transition cuts, and that is completely normal. The true beauty of this mixed workflow is that the AI does the relentless hunting for the important 30 to 60-second moments, leaving you for the nuance. Nuance means timing a cut perfectly for maximum emotional impact, or quickly swapping an angle just to catch a better on-screen reaction. If you do need to tweak audio mid-interview, the standard Premiere technique still applies. Unlink the audio, mute the offending mic, and use the clean track for that span. Vizard often flags those moments where two people talk over each other, so you can quickly spot the exact places you might want to apply that manual adjustment. The final step in this entire pipeline is, of course, the distribution and scheduling of all your newly created short-form content. Vizard's auto-schedule feature lets you dictate how frequently you want clips posted, and it will intelligently fill out that content calendar for you automatically. Combine that with the content calendar view where you can review and manually shift clips around, and you have a steady, reliable pipeline without scrambling daily. Compare that smooth operation to the traditional manual scheduling, which is tedious, incredibly error-prone, and often leads to missing those prime posting time windows. So the bottom line is this: multi-camera editing still heavily benefits from those traditional NLE tricks like proper synchronization and source grading. However, you absolutely do not have to do all of the tedious, repetitive grunt work associated with organizing and cutting that footage anymore. Vizard excels at speeding up the discovery of viral moments, assisting with stitching messy camera files, proposing the best audio, and managing the entire publishing pipeline. If your goal is total manual control, then by all means stay deep in Premiere. But if you need to scale repurposing long-form content into dozens of social-ready clips, Vizard is an incredible time saver. If you are stuck on a very specific multicam problem like weird audio drift or cameras with mismatched frame rates, drop the exact symptoms in the comments below. I will personally walk through solutions for those niche issues because solving those edge cases is what keeps workflows running smoothly. And if this entire walkthrough helped you conceptualize a faster way to handle your multicam projects, please share it with other editors who need this efficiency boost. Keep creating better, more engaging video content, focus on making the workflow itself easy, and utilize tools that genuinely let you concentrate on the creative part. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next edit.